Well, 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 here we are. Another week of Raid Shadow Legends. We're back for more. Isn't that exciting? It is kind of a bit of a low, I'd say, low intensity week. Some events going on. I've got some news to share with you in the video, but yeah, I think we're in, I would say, probably the final real lull of 2025, I would say. We've just come off of Leonardo's event. Hopefully you got out of it what you wanted. I would say that Siege coming up tomorrow is like the first really big chance to use those turtles to big effect in PvP. Of course, we do have a new live arena season in a week, but I put out a video on the turtles in live arena over the weekend, and I think they're not bad, but they're not top tier either. So I doubt I'll be using the full turtles. Might sprinkle in some Leo, but we'll see. Anyway, let's dive into this stuff. We got a couple of things coming, a couple of things in game already. Let's dive in first to the summon pool. This is on for 4 days and 20 hours. We don't know what is coming this upcoming weekend. We're not sure what it's going to be. It could be a champion chase. We just came off of what was effectively a summon rush event, so a champion chase would naturally fit. Though often they don't run champion chase events much outside of fusions, but we will see. It could be a champion chase in there. Of course, we're very much waiting for a 2x primal. If they run a champion chase, unless it's ancient shards or primals, I guess I'm not participating, huh? But yeah, we will see. So certainly with this summon pool, yeah, you might be best off. You're nearly always best off if you're trying to maximize your event points to not pull them until after the event ends. Basically, let the game auto pull the stuff for you. Save up your stuff, but don't pull it. Let the event end. It auto pulls anyway. You cannot stockpile more than 40 of these prism fragments. Although that being said, I see for me, I am at 0. And when I take a gander at the event tab here on Plarium Play, I can see that there is actually nothing that is going to give me any of these prism fragments. We have a Fire Night tournament, which is actually live, but that is giving you. I actually don't even know what these are called. Whatever. They're the Prism Soulstone fragments, which isn't live yet, but is coming tomorrow. So yeah, we have this Elven summon pool, but we've got no way that I could see, at least not yet, to get any free pulls for it. It is going to be exclusively a pay-to-play type event, I think. They could always add something in. Perhaps something's not displaying on the calendar. Perhaps I've missed something in an event that's live because I'm stupid. All of these are possible. Who knows? But yeah. Let's look at the champions that are in here. It's effectively, by the way, essentially it's a Sacred Shard outside of a 2x event. So like your default Sacred Shard chances for this. But the headline champions, we've got Zichlick and we have Fina. It's really a story of two worlds, as it were. I would say Fina is even worst case scenario. I think everyone could agree she's like easily top 3 faction unity champions. I'd say for a good few people, she might even be the top 1. They're most wanted. Whereas Zichlick is, I think it's probably safe to say, bottom 3. So one of these is super highly coveted and one is not. Now, funny enough, let's take a look at them. We'll go with Zichlick first. I actually have come out publicly and said he's one of my most wanted. So I'd actually almost do this for him. I'd almost spend money for him, to be honest, just for fun. The reason being, he has 29 reviews. If we jump over to, let's say, another one of the best of the best would be Volcanos. He has 736. What about Fina? She is, I would say Volcanos is better. Fina's pretty good. She only has 277, actually, lower than I expected. Actually, a good bit lower. Teox is also extremely hyped. He's got 713. So, yeah, they haven't run too many Fina events, which definitely makes this spicy. Nonetheless, as you can see, they've also not run many Zichlick events. I think maybe only the one, and clearly nobody went for it. There's only 29 people have even rated him in the game. He is a single target damage machine. I feel like it's difficult to find places to use him, and his faction isn't very good. So he comes in. One thing that's really cool, he ignores defense if enemies have no buffs. You take 15% less damage from enemies with buffs, or 30% less from enemies that have no buffs. That's actually extremely good. The still one faction ally bonus is fantastic. It's a huge amount of damage reduction. So, I mean, he doesn't bring really any other utility that's particularly useful for, let's say, for Chimera, but you could put him in with Lydia, and the Chimera rarely has buffs. You're all taking 30% less damage, just as an example, or for any potential bosses in the future. Maybe. Although I will point out, when we come over here, he needs to kill enemies to stack up his attack. So he's actually also weirdly not good again. He's a single target damage dealer that's kind of not really designed for bosses. He's not bad, but he's not amazing. Two faction allies on this. When you or an ally remove or steal a buff from an enemy, the next skill does 50% more damage. Again, it's difficult to find content where that's going to be good. And then the three faction ally, and I've got a question for you if you're watching and you're one of the 29, but at the start of each round puts buffs debuff on all enemies for 1 turn, and it cannot be resisted. Now, obviously, I think since Zichlick came out, there's been a couple of changes. We'll talk about a couple of the voids in this faction have been buffed, which definitely help him, 100%. Polymorph is also less common. We've got Wand of Submission in there now as well. We've got Pinpoint gear, Feral gear. Polymorph is just not picked as often because of, probably mostly because of Wand of Submission, to be fair, but also to a degree because of Pinpoint and that. This is bad against Polymorph, but you've got a lot more ways to counter it and to deal with it. What was interesting, and I don't know if this still works, you guys probably know, in terms of like how the game works and some of that coding, some of it is very unclear, and some of it they change from time to time. So what this used to do, I'm not 100% sure if it still does, is it would actually place block buffs when you were, I think when you were attacking, it would place block buffs before the enemy got Stone Skin. But I believe it didn't work until after Stone Skin if you were defending. There's weird shit like that in the game in terms of when abilities go. It's different if you're attacking or defending. Like I said, I'm actually not 100% sure, to be honest with you. Like, it's very opaque. It's very obscure. I'm not 100% sure how this works anymore. So, if you are one of the 29 people who has Zichlick, please can you let us know? Or if you fought a Zichlick, does this still happen before Stone Skin gets placed on the enemy team at the start of a fight on attacking or defending? What is the current situation? I'm not sure. Definitely this was how it worked at one point, and that's actually quite useful. Just blocking their Stone Skin is obviously phenomenally good. Really, really strong. And yeah, I don't know, does it go before Feral? Does it stop Intercept and stuff like that? I genuinely don't know. So please, if you're one of the 29, please tell us. We'd love to know. But that's his passive. So his passive is actually really cool. Now, his A3 is very cool as well. It's a 3-turn cooldown when Buck double hitter. It does 10% more damage each time an enemy receives a debuff, and that resets every time he uses the skill. So if you're running him in a debuff-heavy team, and again, it pushes him into this niche. In fact, let's read the one faction ally to really emphasize the niche. In fact, all of this to emphasize the niche. He's very, very good, I think, against waves. So he's not really built for bosses. He's built for wave-based content. So we're talking faction wars hard. He's in theory good for arena, but again, it's really hard to build a team around the Dark Elves in arena that's good. So he's probably okay in siege, but yeah, it's a bit weird. So yeah, you place lots of debuffs, like, I don't know, Lydia comes in with some AoE debuffs or whatever. If she places decreased defense weaken on 4 enemies, that's 8 debuffs, great, 80% more damage. You're going to do a really big hit on that skill. If you strip off buffs like a Madame Ceres, your next skill does 50% more damage. Madame Ceres removes some of their buffs, places decreased defense, decreased attack. Wowzers, you're going to hit real hard. Now, the one faction ally, whenever he kills an enemy, permanently increases attack by 30% up to 120. So, again, what does this mean permanently? Is that forever? You know, like whatever I log into the game tomorrow, hey, great, my Zichlick is powered up. Now, I believe that it's just in the fight. I think it carries over through rounds. So if you start off wave 1, stage 20, let's say stage 21, faction wars hard, you kill some enemies in wave 1, I think it would still carry over to wave 2, wave 3, etc. So I'm just making fun of the permanently. What does it mean? What does it mean? But yeah, I think it carries over through rounds in the given battle, but it does reset per battle. But up to 120% more attack is obviously stupidly strong, but it does mean you need to kill enemies. So this makes him obviously a bit weaker as well in arena, because he's not going to be at full power immediately. It makes him much weaker against bosses where you can't actually kill stuff. So clan bosses, typically the hardest bosses. But it's something to bear in mind in the future. Perhaps some bosses that are really hard at minions at the end of the year. Who knows? 2 faction allies, if the target's killed by the skill, reset the cooldown of the skill and fill this champion's turn meter by 50%. Pretty awesome. Massive nuke. Reset the skill, give him 50% turn meter. Let's go. 3 faction allies, 50% chance to attack an enemy with this skill whenever that enemy attempts to place a buff. The keyword here is attempt. So if they have block buffs on them, let's say you've got block buffs on a full enemy team and an enemy Sifi tries to do her A2 to buff up anyone. Obviously, they cannot successfully buff up because they got block buffs on, but because Sifi has attempted, he's got a 50% chance to just nuke her, which is really cool. And it's probably just going to kill them as well. So yeah, this is very, very powerful. So this is a really cool move. I love this. It's A2, extra turn if he kills an enemy. Sick. If the target survives, extra hit on all enemies. I don't think it's quite equal to the... Let's see if we can find out. So if we take a gander here at hellhades.com, he's only 3.5 overall. Maybe it's a bit harsh, but I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so it's a 6 times attack, I think, on the initial hit. It's a 4 times attack on the extra hit, which is still really good. I mean, it's still standard. I say a 4 times AoE multiplier is pretty standard, so that's nice. And that, yeah, it's actually pretty good. You can do an AoE. The extra turn is really strong as well. And this A1 has a 100% chance to steal a random buff that can't be resisted or blocked, which is pretty cool as well. Speed and accuracy in all battles for Dark Elves, speed in all battles just generally. I mean, he's a really interesting champ. I hope you can see why I'm like, man, I would love to have this champion. Nobody has him. I think he's actually super fun. He's really cool. But as you can see, it's hard to find a place for him. He wants to be able to actually kill enemies. He kind of wants enemies that are trying to buff, and he can really punish them. So, like, Faction War is hard. Maybe the waves are tough enough that they will try to buff up, so it's quite good there. And Dark Elves is tough. It's a difficult faction, I think. Faction War is hard. But like most bosses, they're not going to be buffing, and he's not going to be able to kill people. Not great. In Arena, he could be good, but again, building that full Dark Elf team, like, apart from Siege, where is that good? It's difficult to find a spot. In terms of teammates to go with him as well, you've got Aphidus, certainly for PvP, not a great champion. More so for bosses. Perhaps, with his form too, he's not bad. Like, just doing some AoE CC, that could be kind of a fun combo. Just crowd controlling them and Zichlick just picking them off could be kind of cool. Obviously, you got the 3 free Void Legendaries, which are very solid. Lydia, Vizix, and Mithrala, they are great. I say some particularly good buffs that have happened in this faction since Zichlick was last out. Tremeria has been buffed. She's a good one to put with him. She's not super fast, unfortunately, but she does have the AoE stun with turn meter pushback, AoE decreased speed with a chance for fear, debuff removal. She's immune to some stuff. Pretty cool as like a cleanser. AoE CC champion. So she's quite a nice combo, I'd say, with Zichlick. And Blind Seer has been buffed as well. Again, she's healing you, gives you block debuffs and a shield. She has a revive. Yeah, she's a bit bland, I think, but she is good. Bland Seer, but, she is good with him. Increase attack, I suppose you're really looking at Mithrala. You can do it with Lanicus as well. But it's a bit awkward. It's not a great faction. Like, you say, okay, can I build, if you look at Tag Team Arena or Classic Arena or non-Dark Elf limited siege rooms, can you build a team to deal with like Taras Marishkas or just Marishkas, Galathirs, Nells, Nices, that sort of stuff? It's gonna be a bit of a struggle, to be honest. But yeah, so he's interesting. I like him a lot, but he wouldn't be a high priority. Now, Fina, I actually have Fina. Fina is very good, but she does have some drawbacks as well. Now, the big thing that she's used for is to basically supercharge a damage dealer. She gives them block debuffs, block damage, counterattack, and she resets all of their skills. That's on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. Her A3 is also giving them increased attack, crit rate, crit damage. So you could build a champion with 70% crit rate, and you could let her basically just keep resetting them. So you could have a Titus use his A2 every single turn and build him with lower crit rate. You could have a Trunda use her A2 multiple times in a row against Height or whatever. She opens up some incredibly powerful teams. Marius is another good one, etc. Lots of options there, which is really cool. And the cool thing is as well, she does this without any faction allies, although she's a good bit better with this particular one faction ally bonus where she gets an extra turn. That's really good. And the bit of a problem is that it's a pretty weak faction as well, High Elves. There's not too much to go with her apart from Galathier. So that's the big combo for Chimera, is running her with Galathier. And the reason it's so strong is because she gets an extra turn here. You can basically turn this effectively from a 3-turn to a 2-turn cooldown. And that becomes much easier to have her be fast enough and tuned in such a way that you basically reset your damage dealer constantly. So your damage dealer literally just spams their best move. It's a bit difficult to do it, to sync it up perfectly otherwise. She also doesn't work on full auto. You're going to need to manual her, which again is a bit rough. She's just going to target random people with this. It'll go all over the place. But yeah, with her full faction bonus, she gets some really cool stuff. So she gets a full debuff removal here. Obviously, the extra turn is amazing because you can do the A3 into the A2. Or just use it to get the A2 cooldown back. Buffs from this skill cannot be removed is decent. Her passive is great. Whenever a buff is placed on an ally, fills turn meter by 3%. That's small, but pretty substantial. So, for example, her A3 becomes a 9% turn meter boost. It's not massive, but it's nice, and it's constant. And yeah, if you do her A3 into her A2, you're giving 6 buffs, and you're giving an 18% turn meter boost. It starts to add up. Allies do more damage attacking out of their active turns. Pretty rubbish. Makes ally attack and counterattack a bit stronger. Not a huge deal, generally speaking. Whenever a buff is removed or stolen from an ally, or when it expires, fills turn meter by 10%. That is extremely good. That can add up to a monstrous amount of turn meter. And then the 3-faction allies is crazy. Allies ignore 5% defense for each buff on them. So if she's giving you 6 buffs just by herself, she's giving you 30%. Ignore defense. It's better than a savage set. It's almost a merciless set. It's crazy good. One of her problems is I think her crit rate aura is a bit awkward, though she does have 20% speed in all battles, which is nice. Prey one's okay, but nothing too special. She can bring in ally attacks when she counters, but it's a random ally. It's not that useful. It's a crazy. She's got this passive is crazy at 2 and 3 faction allies. It's insane. She makes Faction Wars hard much easier. It's quite a tricky faction. She makes it significantly easier because you can just murder everything with his ignore defense. It's actually crazy. But yeah, if you're looking to build a full faction team with her, it gets really awkward. And like I've got a faction team with her for Trunda, and like you are sort of scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like you're using Deliana as your block buffs champion. It's not the bottom of the barrel, but it's not great, right? Deliana is your block buffs, using like Islin as your provoke champion. You're using some awkward stuff to try to get to her 3-faction ally bonus. As Fina plus Galathier is the most common combo. You just use the 1-faction ally. Atharion is genuinely very good. Lanathril is pretty good against any place where you could be using ally attack, so that's kind of cool. I also used Tatora in that team. Prisma's new, he's pretty good, but the faction's just not great. It's not amazing. One fun combo, Lysanthier, obviously his A2 is a special counterattack, so that's kind of cool with her. But it's not too impactful, I would say. In general, Bellinor's decent because the decreased defense weaken. But, you compare him to a modern champion like Klazag, and it's kind of a brutal comparison. Yeah, and you come to Arena once again, you could obviously, Fina plus Galathier, sure, right? Galathier with anything is good. Fina is certainly not bad. You could protect your damage dealer pretty strong with block damage. You could have a very fast protection Fina. It's definitely a strategy. It's kind of difficult to build like a really good later endgame pure high elf team. Especially if you don't have Galathier, it really does reduce the impact of Fina. So funny enough, I have her. I don't use her all that much, mostly, to be honest, because of the thing I mainly use her for, to be honest, is Faction Wars Hard. She's amazing for it. I probably should use her more for some siege stuff. She could actually be kind of cool there. So that's something I should try to do more. Could actually be kind of cool. But again, you need to manual play with her. So I just don't want to use her in clan bosses if I can avoid it. Because I don't want to play it on manual. I just don't enjoy that. It's something it's sort of anti-fun. So yeah, that's sort of where we're at with that. Now, we also have, again, I'm probably more not anti-Fina, but less hyped about Fina than most people. There is no question she opens up some incredibly strong teams in Chimera and in Hydra. Galathier does have a pretty big impact on that, though. But nonetheless, even without him, she's still really good. So if you are looking to, I mean, certainly doing it once is quite fun. You know, getting a huge damage key in Hydra, or probably Demon Lord, I don't bother, but Hydra or Chimera. I do bother in Demon Lord, but you know, like I don't, I do bother, but I don't bother if you get me. But you know, Hydra or Chimera, yeah, you could do a huge key with Fina. That can be, I think it's actually quite fun to do it the once. I hate the idea of doing it multiple times, but it is, you know, maybe you love that and she'd be really cool for that. If you like manualing your Hydra key every week, you know, whatever, this many years in, sure, she's go pull buy shards for her, I suppose. You do you. Where were we? Oh yeah, we have for this Soul Prism event coming up. It's coming up tomorrow. Starts on Tuesday and it goes until Wednesday, and then it's over, which is when I think that the turtles are basically gone. But it's another final event for the turtles. They've squeezed one final event in there. But there's going to be souls for April, Donatello, Leonardo, Raphael, Michelangelo, and Shredder. So all 6 of the turtle champions are in there. You can get souls for them, which is cool. Now, you could have got the 5-star Leonardo recently. Well, yesterday, I suppose. Now it's gone. Michelangelo, you got the 5-star for free. So there could be a couple of duds in there. Donatello, I can't remember if there were souls available for him. I think there were. I think April, Shredder, and Raph might have been from winning tournaments. I think. It's a way to get them. It's okay. Again, there is the one free available. So I guess I'll grab this one free. And you've got to do Fire Knight with Dark Elves. Not too bad because you've got Cold Heart in there. You could just farm stage 20 pretty massively quickly, to be honest, and get this in stage 20. I'll probably do that. You know, why not? Go for a bit of a shot at a Raphael soul. I've got none, so sure. I don't think I have a soul for April either. Don't have Shredder. Just sell it. Don't expect too much out of it, but it's okay. Yeah, I think it's an okay event. We'll see when it goes live tomorrow what the chances are, but it's okay. I'm gonna get the free one, and that's probably about it for that for me. And yeah, we also have then some guaranteed champion events as well. So here we go. We've got on Tuesday, that's tomorrow, guaranteed champion event for Ulfric from Ancients. That's Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, we've got Lady Quillen. And then on Thursday, we have Aishma. These are basically, there's only one reason you would pull for it, and it is they are part, I can't show it because I've done it, but they are part of the Lady Mikage fusion. If you are missing these champions, I'd say, you know, once you've got like 75, maybe 80, like once you've got the majority of the champions for the Lady Mikage fusion, if you are specifically missing one of these, if, you know, that is the thing that's blocking you from progressing in the Lady Mikage fusion, it's actually a really good event. It's definitely worth it. So I would definitely do it. If you got those ancient shards, I would go for it to try secure that Lady Mikage. She is really, really good. She's a great champion, really strong. So yeah, I think, you know, and you could spend months and just never pull. You could just get unlucky, never get that one epic you're missing. So it's a great way to do it. Again, if you're, you know, you're just brand new to the game and you've got almost none of the Lady Mikage fusion champions, you know, you're going to have to pull so many shards before you're getting close to finishing it anyway. Maybe not worth it at that point. So this is definitely for, you're coming closer to the end of the Mikage fusion, but you're missing a key epic. Pick them up. They do run these sort of events, boosted events for Mikage epics pretty regularly these days, and I think they're great. It's a good way to get them because she is so impactful, and you can get really stuck looking for the final epic. So yeah, I would recommend going for any of these if they're one of the final ones you need for Mikage. Why the heck not? And you can use gems to get ancient shards if you're stuck or whatever. But yeah, like, I don't know. I've somehow got 7 since pulling for, I don't know how I even got them. I guess maybe actually grinding dungeons and stuff. I maybe picked up some grinding for the Swordmaster path. I don't know. I don't know where they came from, but I've got some. So yeah, some from Clan Boss. I don't know. So yeah, it's good. It's good. And that's where we are at. So yeah, looking ahead at the week, not too much else going on, to be honest. Like some stuff. Here's that The heroic summon pools coming in. Yeah, it's a bit chill. I'd expect some sort of summoning event the weekend, but probably a lot of us are dry and it's probably going to skip out on it. They'll probably put something juicy in because most of us will want to skip out on it. We will see. And then next week, I'd expect, by the way, personal rewards CVC, I would expect next week. And then probably starting to hear some news, particularly after that, about maybe even later this week, we could hear news about the next fusion and what's coming, for end of November. We might hear that later this week or next week. Yeah, I'd expect stuff to start kicking off towards that after Person Word CVC next week. So, we've got, I'd say, like a week or two of probably fairly chill events, decent stuff. Like this summon pool, it's okay. It's I think this is hilarious that basically people are going to be spending for Fina and they put, I think, the least popular faction unity in there as well. So people are going to get him. Like I said, if you get him, I actually do think he's quite a lot of fun and you could build some fun teams with him. Yeah, like I don't know, it's totally subjective what you find fun. Personally, I probably find Zichlick pretty similarly fun to Fina. Like I said, I probably need to just now, especially now we've got free gear swapping, just do stuff like swap my really fast protection gear from Sifi, where she's like over 400, swap that onto Fina and use her. She's got really high base speed. I should use her more for Arena. It would open up some fun stuff for Siege. So I'll try to do that from a Siege video tomorrow. We will try to use, well, I guess the Siege video might come out on Wednesday or Thursday, but still in time for the end of the summon event. But I will try to use Fina for a couple of fights. You can only use her twice anyway. I'll try to use her for some fights for Siege. So, look, there you are, fellas. That's all I've got. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about these different events. Are you looking forward to a fairly chill week? And, yeah, are you going to go for this? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. I said, for me, I want Zichlick, but I'll probably just save my cash for something else. Oh, I didn't even mention these. They're okay. These are all okay legendaries. The epics, you've got a decent mix of epics as well. Sorry, I didn't mention them. I think Atharion is very useful. I actually really do like Noct quite a bit for Faction Wars. I use him there. Lanicus, she's fun. She does open up some interesting teams because she's got ally attack with a big turn meter boost and buff extension. She opens up some fun teams. Not top tier, but fun teams. And Islan, again, he's decent with Finex, the provoke. He's a pain in the ass in arena defense, especially for newer players. Yeah, you get the gist. Guys, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.